When we see beautiful places like these on TV and in the magazines, they often seem unattainable. We think, this tranquil setting could only exist somewhere far away or in the movies. In reality, these locations are actually just a few hours' drive from anywhere in California, in a magical part of Mono County and the eastern High Sierra. Mammoth Lake sits deep in the heart of the Inyo National Forest at a cool 8,000-foot elevation. You can reach Mammoth via Highway 395 from the north and south year-round. And after the snow melts each summer, take Tioga Pass from Central California through Yosemite National Park. Mammoth Lakes, California is known primarily for its spectacular winter season. Mammoth Mountain Ski Area is well named, with more than 30 chairlifts, a full 360-degree exposure, and an 11,053-foot elevation. The expert skier will enjoy tree-lined powder runs, challenging mogul fields, and steep wind-packed chutes above the tree line. For the young at heart, try snowboarding, now allowed at Mammoth Mountain as well as June Mountain. For the family, Mammoth operates the world's largest fleet of piston bully snowcats, grooming one of the country's largest ski mountains. At Mammoth, it's said you can ski groomed runs all day long without skiing the same run twice. Mammoth also receives more than 25 feet of snowfall each year and has an outrageous spring ski season that often lasts into July. The combination of perfect corn snow and sun-drenched snowfields means summer fun is just around the corner. And when the snow melts, Mammoth is blessed with abundant runoff, producing spectacular waterfalls, hundreds of lakes and streams full of hungry trout, and a wide variety of events, activities, and outdoor adventure. Mountain bikes are the newest addition to the world of cycling. These rugged, all-terrain contraptions enable riders to explore backcountry dirt roads and forests where the fragile road bike dare not tread. The combination of spectacular scenery and limitless alpine trails make Mammoth Lakes a mountain bike paradise. Mammoth Mountain Ski Area has hosted the World Mountain Bike Championships in 1987, 88, and again in 1989. The main categories of competition are the hill climb, the cross country, the observed trials, and the exciting downhill. Let's take a quick look at the infamous Kamikaze downhill course during the first ever World Championships in 1987.
The attraction?
Yeah.
Oh, speed thrills.
Adrenaline junkies.
No, no question. There's nothing that causes more adrenaline rush than this one race. A whole season of riding time trial downhills and anything else.
Yeah.
Nothing caused the adrenaline rush of this one.
As in most sports, both equipment preparation and deliberate technique separate the contenders from the also-rans. Advanced technique involves proper weight distribution on the front wheel and on the outside pedal for high-speed cornering. The top riders know which brake to use and when to use it. Others don't. And of course, a dynamic tuck for low wind resistance will shave valuable seconds from the elapsed time. Equipment failure not only knocks the rider out of contention, but usually on his rump as well. Chain derailments are common. Serious riders combat this by shortening chains to reduce chain slap. Proper tire inflation is a trade-off. Low pressure increases traction and cushions the ride for faster turns and better control, but at the risk of pinching the tube for a flat. Expert rider Cliff Hake clearly demonstrates the practicality of his protective gear, appropriately named the Kamikaze Survival Suit.
Downhill championship here at Mammoth Junior.
Mammoth Mountain has sponsored and managed the Mammoth Motocross for over 20 years. Professional riders have long recognized the Mammoth course as being one of the best tracks in the world.
Rick, what brings you to Mammoth this year?
Well, every year I've always been racing at another race, and this was one of the first years that my schedule would permit me to come here. I had to choose between Unadilla and Mammoth or race Hollister, so I definitely would rather ride Unadilla and Mammoth because I feel they're the two best tracks in the world.
Utilizing Mammoth Mountain's resources in manpower and heavy equipment, the Mammoth Motocross is one of the safest and best maintained tracks anywhere. Race personnel man over 25 water hoses placed strategically around the track to keep the dust down and improve traction and visibility. Over the years, Mammoth has resisted the call of the major sanctioning bodies, choosing instead to keep it a smaller, more manageable event. Often, this motocross falls in between the major events, allowing the top pros to compete for over $20,000 in prize money. Check out Mammoth Lakes each year during the last weeks of June for plenty of old-fashioned motocross action and excitement.
Mammoth is always been and always will be a good old-fashioned motocross track that gets real rough, and you got to ride really hard to be fast and be consistent. So if you're looking for a supercross, this isn't it, but if you're looking for a motocross at its best, you got it right here at Mammoth.
From Bishop to Bridgeport, the Mammoth Lakes area offers a wide variety of world-class fishing opportunity. For the visiting angler, Mammoth Lakes has several tackle and bait shops staffed by local experts with seasoned advice on where to fish and what bait, lure, or fly is best for that time of year. Fred Rowe of Sierra Bright Dot Guide Service tells us about some of the waters around Mammoth Lakes.
Okay, San Joaquin River starts at Thousand Island Lake, and that's the headwaters, and it flows down the drainage through Agnew Meadows, down past the campgrounds through Red's Meadow, and then ends up actually flowing all the way out into San Francisco Bay and out into the San Joaquin Delta. Some of the other waters that we have to fish are waters like Twin Lakes and Mammoth Basin, or actually the whole Mammoth Lakes chain for that matter. We have Lake Mary, Lake George, Horseshoe Lake, Lake Mamie, and Twin Lakes. Of the lakes, Twin Lakes is probably the best lake to be fly fishing. Out of Twin Lakes flows Mammoth Creek. It's primarily a stocked water, what we call a put and take type fishery. Then we have Mammoth Creek basically flows into Hot Creek, which is the most popular of all the wild trout streams in the state of California. There's 10 to 12,000 fish in 3/4 of a mile of stream. There's no overhangs, there's no trees, there's no bushes, there's virtually nothing to get hung up on. So as far as the fly fisherman's concerned, it really makes for easy fishing. Hot Creek flows into the Owens River. It's primarily what we call a migratory type fishery. It fishes best early and late in the year when the big rainbows and browns out of Crawley Lake have come up the river to spawn. Crawley Lake is probably the most famous water that we have up here to fish. They stock fish in there in July at 5 to 7 inches, and by the following spring, you're looking at fish that are running between 1/2 and 3/4 of a pound each. And by the following fall, those fish that manage to get through the onslaught of the fishermen opening weekend, we're looking at fish that run from 18 to 22 inches in length and weigh between 3 and 5 pounds. It's probably some of the finest trophy trout fishing that the area has to offer. Fishing in the Eastern Sierra starts on the last Saturday of April with the opening day. And this is usually, oh man, come on, take it. Damn, it bounced on it twice. Came right up underneath it and nosed it, but didn't take it. Starts with opening season, which is generally thought of as a time that everybody goes out and fishes Crawley Lake for the big numbers of fish that Crawley produces. Then we kind of get into the spring season, which is when the runoff, and there's a lot of big fish spawning, particularly in the Owens River system, but that's true of all the waters. Another area that we want to look at in terms of fishing is the high country lakes. The trick to fishing those and doing real well is be able to fish them right after they ice out, and that's when some of the biggest fish come out of those lakes. Then we kind of get into the summer periods, July and August, what we call the dog days of summer. Fishing is generally a first in the morning and last thing at night situation. Then as we get into fall, we start seeing a lot of fish getting real active again. In particular, they know that it's time for winter to be coming, and they start spawning, and they also start going into big feeding frenzies. So that's the time of the year that we can catch some of the biggest fish of the year. And then we get into late fall, which is kind of that last hurrah opportunity to really go out and get the fishing before the fishing season closes the 31st of October. Fly fishing is a holistic approach to trout fishing is really the essence of.
Well, Fred could probably go on for a few hours, but it's time for us to move on. For more information, contact Sierra Bright Dot Guide Service or one of the many bait and tackle shops in Mammoth Lakes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our 1-2s and pros are well underway with their second stage of the 1989 Whiskey Creek Stage Race here in Mammoth Mountain. Once again,
Each summer, the Mammoth Lakes area is host to the Whiskey Creek Stage Race, a more traditional cycling event which attracts the top road cyclists from around the country.
5, 2, 1.
stage race is a series of races with individual lengths and formats. The teams and individual riders with the best overall finishes in all events is declared the general classification winner. While most of these races are held in cities and communities around the country each year, the Mammoth Lakes races provide riders and spectators with a literal breath of fresh air. This alpine competition takes riders through some of the most remote and highest locations in the country, providing a spectacular backdrop for a very challenging race. Perhaps the most demanding of these stage races is the arduous Altitude 9000 road race. Beginning at 4,000 feet in Bishop, California, riders make their way through the scenic Round Valley and up steep Sherwin grade on Highway 395. Competitors then turn off at the Mammoth Lakes Junction onto Highway 203 and through the town of Mammoth Lakes. The final 4 miles are a brutal 1,000-foot climb up windy Minaret Road that leads to the final sprint at the Mammoth Mountain Inn across from the main lodge. For the best viewing, the Mammoth Circuit Race and Whiskey Creek Criterium are lap races situated in and around Mammoth Lakes. These exciting stages allow spectators easy access to see the country's top riders race head-to-head, up close and personal. However, you don't have to be an Olympic star to compete, as there are over 12 different competitor categories for men, women, and junior racers. If you ride to get away from it all, then Mammoth Lakes is the place this summer. Mammoth Lakes and Reds Meadow is the trailhead of the Ansel Adams and John Muir Wilderness areas. One of the best ways to explore this unspoiled territory is by horse and pack mule. Choose from one of the many pack outfits in the area and ride in by horseback with mules and guide for a true mountain vacation. Once settled in a campsite, treat yourself to a gourmet meal prepared by your guide, or fry up the trout you just caught at dawn's first light. From home base, explore alpine lakes and rugged volcanic terrain in the unspoiled wilderness miles from civilization. Camp overnight, for a week, or have a trip customized to suit the needs of your family and friends. There are several options available at most pack outfits. A basic 3-day group pack trip starts at about $200 per person. This means that the pack outfit supplies guide, horses and mules, and you bring your own supplies. For the tenderfoot, choose the fully outfitted, customized trip with everything provided except sleeping bag for about $110 per person per day. For hikers wanting to venture into the backcountry with extra supplies, guide and mules are also available. For more information on Pack Trip Outfitters, consult the Mammoth Lakes Yellow Pages under Guide Services. The Mammoth Lakes region also boasts of many beautiful sights and natural wonders only a short drive or bike ride from town. Within a few miles of Mammoth, you can find natural hot springs bubbling up from the ground at Hot Creek, just downstream from the great fishing. Obey all warnings about the scalding hot waters in cordoned-off areas, and keep an eye on your pets and small children. Swimming is allowed in certain areas, although the State Park Service advises against it because of the high mineral content and fluctuating temperatures. For some historical perspective, visit a ghost town at Bodie State Historic Park, once California's wildest and most wicked gold town. Just south from Bodie, you'll find the hauntingly beautiful Mono Lake Tufa State Reserve. Sunset and sunrise are the best times to view the bizarre Tufa Towers, which are calcium carbonate deposits exposed as the salty lake waters have dropped over the years. In more recent years, the diversions of freshwater tributaries by the LA Department of Water and Power has sparked controversy over the impact to the indigenous brine shrimp and on the nesting grounds of the California gull and other migratory birds. Between Mono Lake and Mammoth is the quaint community of June Lake. June Lake offers sunbathing and windsurfing, as well as great fishing on Silver Lake, Rush Creek, and Gull Lake. June Mountain Ski Area, with 2 detachable quads and a tram called the QMC, provides a relaxed, personalized charm that complements the skiing at Mammoth Mountain. For more information on the Mammoth Lakes area, phone 800-367-6572. Summer or winter, visit Mammoth Lakes just for fun. The Inyo National Forest, 2 million acres of mountains, forest, lakes, and streams. Like all national forests, it is a land of many uses: wilderness, timber, mining, energy, grazing, recreation. But the Inyo is unique. It lies a day's drive from the nearest city, yet it is one of the nation's heaviest used, with 10 million visitors per year. No road crosses the rugged spine of the Sierra Nevada for the entire 200-mile length of the Inyo. And nearly 40% of the forest is designated or planned wilderness, yet it ranks first in the nation in recreation revenues.
This heavy recreational demand on the Inyo National Forest is tied primarily to the population of Southern California. In the past, the rapid growth of Los Angeles, San Diego, Orange, San Bernardino, Ventura, and Riverside counties was mirrored by similar growth in developed recreational opportunities in the Inyo National Forest. But today, the demand of over 10 million Southern Californians exceeds the existing capacity of many on-forest recreational facilities. Most of the Inyo's prime recreational forest space has been set aside as wilderness. Yet preserving the wilderness experience means setting trailhead quotas. In the Inyo, only 2,200 people may enjoy these hundreds of thousands of acres at any one time. These wilderness quotas are presently filled all summer. Outside the wilderness, developed recreation sites are being taxed to their limits. Ski runs and facilities are overcrowded. Vacationing families can't find a campsite. For many, the relaxing mountain experience they came hundreds of miles to enjoy is often unattainable. Southern California continues to attract hundreds of thousands of new residents every year, eager to participate in the active California lifestyle. Unfortunately, the recreational resources that attracted so many to the beaches and sunshine are quickly disappearing under houses and pavement. All Southern Californians, natives and newcomers alike, will have to look further from home to find recreational alternatives. Obviously, if the trend of the past 50 years continues, demand for Inyo National Forest recreational resources can be expected to increase substantially in the decades ahead. How will this demand be met? The present plan allows for more wilderness, but that will only accommodate a few forest users. More developed campsites, trails, and other recreational facilities in non-wilderness areas could provide substantially more opportunities. But developed facilities cost a lot of money to build, maintain, and operate. Where will this capital come from? A stronger Inyo National Forest budget would certainly help, but even if the Inyo receives the requested budget increases, the Forest Service can't provide all the recreational facilities demanded by the Inyo's visitors. Perhaps the best solution for providing today's recreational needs lies in a cooperative atmosphere between private enterprise, local government, and the United States Forest Service. An example of this mutual relationship has been working for nearly 50 years right here in the Inyo National Forest. Let us show you how Mammoth Mountain Ski Area has become a full partner with the Inyo National Forest and local communities in providing mountain recreation for Southern California, while helping to create a thriving rural economy.
How are we doing today? Good. Right behind you, and there you go.
At Mammoth, our guests are busy enjoying our friendly staff, the freshly groomed snow, the conveniently placed lifts, and the resulting freedom and exhilaration they seek in skiing. We'd prefer they not worry about what it takes to build and operate such a large enterprise in such a remote and demanding environment. But in order to give Mammoth visitors the best skiing and vacation experience possible, the ski resort has, by necessity, grown into a multifaceted and nearly self-sufficient community on the edge of the wilderness. Mammoth built and operates its own water and sewer systems. Its trucking line assures on-time deliveries of everything from produce to bull wheels. Its own public transit system provides nearly 500,000 rides throughout the year. Mammoth's fleet of snow removal equipment is larger than Mono counties and the town of Mammoth Lakes. In fact, ski resort plows and crews are frequently used to help keep state and county roads open during the region's massive snowfalls. Mammoth's 45,000 square foot garage includes service bays for the company's 250 pieces of rolling stock, the ski industry's largest and best stock parts room, a full-service machine shop, a complete metal fabrication shop, a snowcat service area larger than the German factory where the machines are built, and a research and development division that designs and constructs prototype machinery like this turbo-powered snowcat. The resort has also installed and maintains its own 600-line telecommunication network. Mammoth's Graphic Arts Department creates advertising layout and copy, plus designs and constructs hundreds of safety, informational, and directional signs for the resort and the community of Mammoth Lakes. Mammoth even builds its own ski patrol toboggans, gondola cars, and snowmobile cowlings. Skiing's first and largest corporate video department produces training, skier safety, and promotional videos that are used throughout the industry and on Mammoth's own 500-monitor closed-circuit guest information system. Mammoth June not only leads the American ski industry in numbers of skiers, uphill capacity, and skiable acreage, it has also become the industry model for guest relations, crowd control, and risk management. When insurance rates and legal costs threatened to cripple ski resorts throughout the country, Mammoth developed a multimedia safety and awareness campaign for the entire industry. The program has resulted in a substantial reduction in injuries and claims at Mammoth. One reason Mammoth June is a leader in so many areas is the knowledge and professionalism of its longtime staff members. In an industry known for its transient labor force, Mammoth has a surprising number of employees that have been with Dave McCoy for 20, 30, and even 40 years. They are the real leaders, experts in a wide variety of disciplines: ski lift and ski run design and construction, avalanche control, risk management, ski instruction, race instruction, and lift and slope maintenance. These experts and the more than 50 departments they manage not only serve the resort, but the community of Mammoth Lakes as well. Since the earliest days, Dave's bulldozers, trucks, and personnel have been instrumental in providing recreational, educational, and transportation facilities throughout the region. The resort helped build the local high school football field and running track, plus community ball fields, the city park, a BMX track, and operates one of the premier motocross tracks in the nation. The resort's year-round staff helps maintain backcountry pack trails and provides daily guided natural history walks from the summit of Mammoth Mountain. It donates space and facilities for summer music festivals, constructed acid rain research sites for the University of California, bought and donated the local airport terminal, and helped construct new runways, attracting daily jet airline service to the region. Mammoth's relatively low lift ticket prices, including free passes for senior citizens and local school children, helped to attract over $150 million to the local economy during the winter months. But being the closest major resort to the nation's largest metropolitan area and recreational market means providing year-round recreational opportunities, not just a great skiing experience. During the summer months, a natural beauty comparable to nearby Yosemite, Kings Canyon, and Sequoia National Parks attract over 2 million anglers, hikers, rock climbers, and campers to the Mammoth Lakes region. The ski resort plays a major role in providing additional recreational opportunities during the summer. From the Mammoth Mountain Inn, it operates a luxury tour bus line along with the local shuttle bus system into the beautiful and heavily used San Joaquin Canyon. The resort's gondola allows visitors of all physical abilities a chance to view the John Muir and Ansel Adams Wilderness area from the ultimate vantage point. The inn and the gondola become centerpieces in the resort-sponsored World Mountain Bike Championships held here late each summer.
Cycling is just one of the new uses of the presently developed national forest lands in the Mammoth region. The Inyo National Forest is the nation's busiest, and the Mammoth-June corridor is the focus of the activity. Between the two resort villages runs the San Joaquin Ridge, a high, snowy section of the Sierra Divide. During the winter, the ridge is a favorite with snowmobilers, cross-country skiers, and the few lucky enough to find room in a helicopter. During the summer, campers, cyclists, and geology buffs are also discovering the region's fascinating natural attributes. As the Mammoth Basin becomes more and more popular, many are looking to this largely undeveloped area for recreational possibilities. Mammoth June Ski Resort has eventual hopes of joining the two villages of Mammoth Lakes and June Lake with a year-round recreational area where all of the region's visitors will have plenty of room to enjoy the wonders of these mountains. Summertime bicycle and equestrian trails that winter turns into cross-country skiing and snowmobile trails. A network of lifts that would provide more than enough room for over 50,000 skiers per day. The cooperative atmosphere built over the years between the ski resort, the local economy, and the Inyo National Forest makes this recreational mecca possible. Indeed, without national forest leases and land trades, there wouldn't be any groomed runs, or chairlifts, or bus service, or motocross, airport, ball fields, or even the high school. In fact, everything seen in this program is located on lands presently owned or traded by the Inyo National Forest. It is this mutual relationship where private enterprise, local government, and federal agencies work together that allows for the responsible utilization and increased accessibility of America's great outdoors.
I've made it down. Well, let's go. Could be some challenge.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah. Welcome to Mammoth June Ski Resort. Hi, I'm Bill Cockruff, Director of Lift Operations. We're proud of our lift system here at Mammoth. It's one of the best in the nation, and an important part of making Mammoth one of the world's great ski resorts. You're the most important part of this system because you're responsible for running it. Please pay close attention to this video series and to your instructor because we want to keep our reputation as one of the most professional, courteous, and friendly lift operations in the country.
Over the next couple of days, you will learn how to operate a chairlift. Your training will consist of classroom lectures, video instruction, and on-the-job training at an operating chairlift. After your training, you must become certified by completing a written test. Once certified, you will be assigned to a chairlift.
Throughout the course of the winter, you'll have the opportunity to operate several other chairlifts and even participate in special assignments. So first, we'd like to give you a general overview of standard chairlift operating procedures using a variety of chairlifts. Although every lift has its own unique attributes, the descriptions and procedures discussed in this video manual apply to all the different sizes and makes of chairlifts found at this ski resort. In this video, we will explain the basic mechanics of how most chairlifts work. In other sections, we will explain and demonstrate daily chairlift preparation and opening procedures, followed by normal daily operating procedures, including how to assist your guest onto the chair, how to check lift tickets, and how to perform a variety of top operator duties. You will learn about special circumstances encountered every day and some emergency procedures hopefully you will never need. Finally, you will learn how to close your lift in the evening and how to manage an accident or incident at your lift. This overview should allow you to become familiar with your responsibilities and duties as a ski lift operator before you go out on the snow. So prepare yourself. You're about to be bombarded with a lot of new information. But don't worry if you don't catch on to everything right away. You'll find your supervisors and other experienced operators anxious to help you once out on the hill. The first skiers in America were Norwegian miners who brought their 16-foot skis to California during the gold rush. The sport really didn't catch on, however, until the late 1920s, when college ski clubs, plus a few European ski champions imported by wealthy Americans to teach skiing, started ski areas in the Cascades, the Sierra, the Rockies, and northern New England. In Washington, the giant snowfields and glaciers of Mount Rainier and Mount Baker attracted thousands of skiers. In the east, old roads and power line cuts were widened into ski runs. In Yosemite, skiers used pack animals to carry their skis into the mountains, but most American skiers still had to climb the mountain for many hours just to ski for a few minutes. In order for the sport to grow, lifts were needed to eliminate the difficult and exhausting hill climbing. At Donner Pass near Lake Tahoe, this tractor tow was used to take skiers from the end of the road to the old Sugar Bowl, where they still had to climb the mountain to ski. At Badger Pass above Yosemite Valley, this rope-driven up-ski sled lift was one of the first successful ski lifts in the world. It was the rope tow, however, that opened up the mountains to the masses, providing scores of skier entrepreneurs an economical way to start ski areas. Rope tows were simple, inexpensive to build and operate, portable, durable, and fast. They are still the highest capacity ski lifts ever developed. In 1936, the first chairlift in the world was built in Sun Valley, Idaho by Union Pacific Railroad engineers. Based on a hook lift used for transporting bananas down the mountains in South America, this single-passenger chairlift changed the sport of skiing into an industry. Soon chairlifts were built at Alta, Utah, where they used a bi-cable design, and at Sugar Bowl, and Stowe, Vermont, where the lift rose through the dense forest for 1.5 miles. The trails, however, remained just as narrow. After World War II, skiing really started to catch on as the U.S. Forest Service began actively leasing land for ski area development. During the 50s, rope tows began to be replaced by double chairlifts, like the old Chair 1 at Mammoth Mountain. Double chairs attracted even more people to the sport with a more comfortable, more social, and less strenuous uphill experience. Throughout the American ski industry, lift designers and resort operators often the same person, constantly experimented with new ideas and improvements. Strange lifts like this kiddie car at North Conway and this jig-back chair tram at Squaw Valley show the extremes both operators and designers went to, trying to improve the uphill experience and attract new skiers to the sport. The double chairlift, however, became the workhorse of the American ski industry. Hundreds were built in the 60s and 70s before the invention of the triple and then quad chair. The experimental relationship between lift builders and resort operators still thrives in the United States. Today, American ski resorts continue to set the comfort standards for the ski industry worldwide with a new generation of lift systems like this quad monocable tram at June Mountain. Complementing this new technology is a wide variety of conventional aerial trams, gondolas, surface lifts like T-bars and platter lifts, and of course, chairlifts. Most ski lifts operate under the same general engineering and mechanical principles. And since most of you will be operating chairlifts, we'll now take a quick look at how they work. Chairlifts are used to transport skiers up the mountain. Some resorts might also use them to transport skiers down the mountain over unskiable terrain. A lift has two terminals, a drive terminal from which the lift is powered, and an idler or return terminal where the lift makes a 180-degree turn, returning the carriers to the drive terminal. Inside the drive terminal motor or control room, you will probably find the 480-volt electric panel, which distributes the high-voltage electricity received from the local power company to the several power needs of the lift. The lift's main power switch is usually located on this panel. The lift will also have a 12 or 24-volt system which distributes power to the low-voltage control panel, the nerve center of the lift. The control panel houses the electronic motor control, safety, and stop circuits. It's often used for troubleshooting electrical problems. The newest lifts are equipped with computerized programmable circuits. Power from the 480-volt electric panel is also distributed to the primary electric motor, which drives the lift. Chairlift motors can deliver between 100 to 800 horsepower. Most ski lifts are run by electric motors because they are more efficient, easier to control, cleaner, and quieter than combustion engines. Chairlifts do, however, have a diesel or gasoline-powered auxiliary engine for temporary emergency use when the primary motor cannot be used, usually due to power failures. In order to use these engines, they must be directly connected to the drivetrain, usually using a group of belts or a chain and pin. Do not load guests when the auxiliary is being used. The electric motor is connected directly to the gearbox or reducer by a shaft or belts. The gearbox simply reduces the motor's high speed down to a more useful operating speed. The gearbox is directly connected to the main shaft, which in turn rotates the bull wheel. Either the drive or idler bull wheel is built on a movable carriage. The carriage can roll back and forth and maintains the proper haul rope tension by reacting to changes in the amount of weight and momentum the lift is carrying. The carriage limit switch activates the stop circuit if the carriage moves too far. A counterweight attached to the carriage counterbalances the lift's load. On newer style lifts, the counterweight has been replaced by a hydraulic or pneumatic cylinder. The drive bull wheel, besides changing the direction of the lift 180 degrees, is also used to drive the haul rope. The haul rope consists of over 100 steel wires twisted to create strands, which are in turn twisted around a lubricated rope core. The two ends of the haul rope are woven together over a distance of a couple of 100 feet, creating a secure splice. The splice is usually located between chairs number 1 through 6. Haul ropes may vary in diameter from 9/16 to 1 7/8 inches, depending on the size and type of lift. On monocable lifts, the haul rope both supports and hauls the carriers. Some carriers, like this center pole double chair, are attached to the haul rope with a clip. The clip is inserted right into the weave of the haul rope. A more common approach is shown on these bale-type double, triple, and quad chairs, which are attached to the haul rope with a fixed grip. The grip grabs onto the outside of the haul rope. There is a match mark painted on the haul rope in front of each grip. Grips are designed to slip a little, but they should slip relative to the match marks at approximately the same rate within each individual lift. New high-speed detachable chairs have spring-loaded grips that allow the carrier to attach and detach from the haul rope. A long accelerator system propels the carriers to haul rope velocity as the grip attaches. Most fixed grip lifts move about 450 to 550 feet per minute. Detachable lifts can speed along at up to 1,000 feet per minute. All ski lift carriers and haul ropes are supported or held down at various intervals by rollers called sheaves. There are grounding sheaves at both terminals of the lift. These special copper-studded sheaves disperse static electricity and reduce the risk of lightning damage. Sheaves are usually found in sets called assemblies or sheave trains. The sheave assemblies are supported by the cross arms, which are supported by the lift towers. The lift towers are placed at various intervals depending on terrain and type of lift. To build a chairlift, first a sight line is cut and then widened into a lift line. Six-foot deep holes are dug and an angle plate is set in a concrete pad to assure that all the towers and cross arms will be perfectly in line. The hollow pipe towers are usually welded and cut at a fabrication site near the lift construction site. The cross arms and sometimes even the sheave assemblies are attached before either a crane raises them into place or a helicopter lifts the whole 5-ton assembly up the slope to the tower site. Upon arriving at the site, the pilot carefully guides the tower into the hole. Some members of the ground crew jump into the hole, grab a hold of the tower, and wrestle it onto the preset location plate. Meanwhile, other members of the ground crew grab color-coded guy wires and run them to winches anchored to boulders or trees. Once the tower is on the pad and in line with the plate, the foreman signals the winch crews to alternately tighten and loosen the guy wires. When the tower is vertical and secure, the foreman signals the pilot and the chopper releases the tower, jetting back for the next assembly. Later, the vertical placement is fine-tuned and the tower hole is filled with concrete. Once the terminals and bull wheels are in place, the haul rope is strung and spliced. Finally, carriers are attached and the lift is load tested. After the lift passes the required inspections, it can be used by the public. The lift is operated from push-button operator stations, or PBOs, located at both the top and bottom terminals and in the drive terminal control room. There are 4 or 5 control buttons on the PBO that activate control circuits in the low-voltage control panel. The start button causes the service brake to lift and energizes the motor with a slow-speed command. The slow control and fast control cause the electric motor to run at different speeds. The stop button trips circuits that stop all current to the electric motor and service brake. The service brake is the primary brake for the lift and is located on the input shaft of the gearbox. When the stop button is pushed, a circuit stops all current to a switch, which then releases pressure in a valve, activating the service brake. In other words, the brake is released when the current is stopped, so that in case of a power shortage, the brake will automatically release and stop the lift. The service brake is activated when the stop circuit is tripped either by a stop button the safety gate, the carriage limit switch, or any other lift monitoring device. Deropement switches located on all shiv trains are activated if the haul rope leaves the shivs. When the haul rope leaves the shivs, a switch is disconnected or broken, activating the stop circuit. Some lifts have magnetic rope position detectors or proximity switches that activate the stop circuit whenever a haul rope leaves its designed path, hopefully avoiding a derailment. There are 3 other brakes besides the service brake. The emergency brake is located on the drive bullwheel flange. It is used in case of a service brake failure or if the lift begins to move backwards, a dangerous condition called a rollback. On older style lifts, a red pull ring at the drive terminal operator station is connected to a cable that runs directly to the release mechanism. This way, the emergency brake can be released without control circuits. In newer style lifts, the emergency brake is released by a large red emergency stop button located at both ends of the lift, just like the service brake. There are 2 automated backstop brakes that are designed to stop the lift if it begins to roll back. The gearbox backstop allows the gearing to turn in only one direction. The bullwheel backstop allows the drive bullwheel to likewise turn in only one direction. If the bullwheel rolls back more than a few inches, the heavy steel pawl drops onto the bullwheel, stopping the lift. Well, that's generally how a chairlift works. Once you are assigned to a lift, you will get to know its idiosyncrasies. Your knowledge of lift mechanics and the special attributes of your lift in particular is important to the overall maintenance and operation of your lift. Pay attention to what the motor and shivs and bullwheel should sound like. Listen for squeaky shivs or other unusual sounds. Check the condition of the chairs and the grips. Watch the match marks for excessive grip slippage. Make sure that the shivs are in line and that the haul rope is riding properly in the groove of each shiv. You should understand the braking control system so that you can troubleshoot a mystery stop before having to call lift maintenance or your supervisor. Your chairlift is like your car. You, the operator, are in the best position to know when something is wrong. Always report anything out of the ordinary to your supervisor.